Radio and Sirius XM Channel 80 on your smart speakers. You can download the podcast. We're on ESPNU. That's all true. But do you know, if you have a phone in your pocket, you have us wherever you are. You can listen live. Go to the app. Click on the lower right-hand corner. It says More. Click on that. Scroll down. Hit Listen Live. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Bills 24, Chiefs 20 at Arrowhead. Guys, Tony Romo said after the win over Kansas City that the Bills proved they are the team to beat in the AFC. Before we even answer whether or not that's true, here is Josh Allen on how he was feeling on that last Chiefs drive.
Anytime you're going against a quarterback like that who, you know, you can make an argue he's got the best start to any quarterback to ever play this game in the history of the league. You know, he's a special player, so anytime he's got the ball in the hands, you never know what can happen. But, again, credit to our defense for stepping up and making some plays.
Yeah, he's so easy to like, Josh Allen, because he said what he just said about Patrick Mahomes is 100% true. He just gave it up. The best start to any career ever, probably, at quarterback.
Yeah,
he's right.
He's paying attention to it, and the reason he's paying attention to it because he's chasing him. Now, congratulations to the Buffalo Bills in beating the Kansas City Chiefs 2 times in the regular season. I don't care about the regular season, even though many people would think that there's a step to getting to the playoffs with confidence when you see Kansas City again later on down the line. The one thing that's interesting about this is if Buffalo can not run the table, but if Buffalo can get home field advantage throughout the playoffs, what would that look like going into is it still Ralph Wilson Stadium? Or did they change it again?
Got me.
I'll call it Ralph Wilson Stadium until somebody tells me something different. Going to Buffalo with the cold, the mafia, the people, jumping on tables and putting mustard all over their face and acting a certain way, you go into that type of environment, you may come out of there with an L opposed to them going on the road, because we've seen Buffalo lose on the road many times.
And that's why, Jay, they drafted Josh Allen in the first place. Look, cold weather, we want a big, strong kid with a big arm who can run. They got it. If they get home field, it's going to be a problem.
I mean, obviously he is he's the epitome of their offense. But, I mean, their defense is what won that game for them, too. I mean, Von Miller made a play, that sack on Patrick Mahomes when they had a chance third down. They could have iced out the game, right? I mean, I don't know how long that dude runs around in the pocket and moves around. He's like Houdini, but they found a way to get him down, and that's what led to them ultimately having a chance on the offensive end. Look, I know the Eagles are a really good team. They're complete. I think the Bills are the best team in football right now. They're playing
Top
the
to
best
bottom.
in football.
Well, them are let's limit it to the AFC because you're going to get an argument from Eagles fans. But in the AFC right now, key top to bottom,
Chiefs are right there too. I'm just saying that coming off the win.
Isn't that weird how, Mahomes one of these dudes, I always believe he's going to win the game. When I see the defense do that to him, I'm like, damn.
Yeah, I got more pressure to him last night.
Yep.
That was the difference.
Yeah, I would probably say the Bills right now are the king of the mountain in the AFC, although I didn't see the Chargers play, right? They didn't give me anything yesterday. So even though their record is a little different, I think the Chargers could be fully healthy, could be something,
It's in there somewhere.
Look, they beat the Chiefs. If I'm going to give them a win, and James hates me for this, but I'm going to give them a win even though it was a loss against Kansas City because it was a mistake made by the tight end not being taken off the field, and then he ran a poor route. Therefore, it was a pick six going the other way. It would have been a 2-score game, and they would have lost. And they would have beat Kansas City the same thing Buffalo did going into Arrowhead. So, I want to see it. But right now, Buffalo, you got to tip your hat off to them.
I mean, we'll see what the Chargers look like tonight and start to make a decision in the AFC for you.
It's the Broncos.
Yeah, but I mean,
you can still look and
but going
see.
into it's interesting. Going into the season, it's like Bills and Chargers were two of the teams that people were, and always the Chiefs.
What do you call
now
it?
the Bills just beat the
juice
Chiefs.
was coming in for those guys.
Yeah.
Bills just beat the Chiefs. Chargers got off to a little bit of a slow start for what we were anticipating. Bills look like number one to me in the conference right now.
I know Key said I don't really care what happens throughout the regular season, and I get that. It's all about postseason play. But if you are Josh Allen going on the road, getting a win, that dude, Max, you always call him a cyborg from the future.
Sent back to destroy Patrick Mahomes.
Sent back to beat him, right? So he's just his size, his frame. Even that pass he threw to Dawson Knox, man. I mean, it was sick. He makes plays. So for me, I think Josh Allen is leading the MVP conversation. Probably Jalen Hurts is right there. Obviously, Patrick Mahomes will be in that conversation with Lamar Jackson as well. But, I mean, Patrick Mahomes throwing a pick yesterday, Lamar Jackson throwing a pick to close out the game. Josh Allen, what he's doing right now is just pretty special.
Him or Hurts, Bills or Eagles, right? Like in each conference, that's what we're talking about.
I mean, when you start talking about the MVP, because it's so early, Josh Allen probably has the momentum to a degree, but then Jalen Hurts is sitting right there. Or if you flip it, Jalen Hurts has the momentum, but Josh Allen is sitting right there. I think Lamar Jackson is taking himself out of the MVP. Too many losses on his
Too many bad decisions late. That's a bad decision he made late.
Bad decisions, too many losses of late. And then Patrick Mahomes is going to be there, and he obviously could catch fire and just roll from here on out statistically.
Yeah, Mahomes really, he hasn't, I still always feel with him like he could do better than that, even though he's been great this year. But it did seem to me like he was pressing a little bit at the end because he's put in that position only so many times. Eventually, you're going to throw an interception.
And with Jalen Hurts and Josh Allen coming into the season, people wanted Josh Allen to be the MVP.
For sure.
Hey, he's the MVP. Yeah. It's like we haven't played a game yet. Now Jalen Hurts has to make up the people want to be ground. He's making up that ground. Here's
what Mahomes said about playing Josh Allen after the game.
I mean, I want to win against the best, and he's put himself up there. So definitely, you want to win against the best and play against the best football teams. But when you lose, at least you're losing to the best. So you have two great quarterbacks, two great teams. You have two great coaches going at it. That's what you want. And we lost this time, but hopefully we can battle back and have another chance when we get to the playoffs.
I love it. Two great quarterbacks.
He gets away with saying that, right? Mahomes could say two great quarterbacks. No one's going to be like, hey, you can't talk about yourself that way. Everyone's like, yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he can.
That was funny, though. Two great quarterbacks.
But Mahomes knows. I like the self-awareness both guys has. Mahomes knows how he's perceived. And so when he says two great quarterbacks, what he's telling Josh Allen is, you're on my level. I recognize, like game, recognize game. I see you. It's not like about him bragging that he's great. Everyone knows Mahomes is great.
No, it's just funny to hear him say it. That's all.
I want to ask you a question, Keith.
And I have an answer.
Do you think in the next 5 years or so we'll have every quarterback that will have that same kind of RPO game that Josh Allen, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, Daniel Jones? Will that be the majority of quarterbacks in the league?
No, it'll be the same way it is now, split.
You think so?
Yeah, because there's certain people, no matter what, they don't believe in the Golden State Warriors. They don't believe in shooting threes, no matter what, right?
Yeah. It just feels like you would want a quarterback with all that optionality, right?
No matter what.
That's where the athleticism is going.
No matter what, Jay, they will always. It's gonna always be.
I'll split the difference between you guys. I think you're right. It's going to just keep trending that way. Like Mac Jones goes last in the first round of all those quarterbacks because he's not. But there will always be an exception to the rule. There'll always be a Tom Brady type out there who's a statue but real quick.
They're going to stay wanting Sub-Zero refrigerators. That's just the reality of it.
But that's why I said majority, though, Max. Maybe the
majority, no doubt. That's how it's going. That's how it's going, I think. Guys, what a day in New York sports. But from the other point of view, like Giants, Jets, Yankees, Bills, I guess, if you want to call them. But from the other point of view.
They are New York, Max. Why y'all be doing them like that?
Well, I mean, they're way upstate. But
the
Packers offense really struggled in that loss to the Jets. Is that more about the Jets defense or the Packers offense? Do the Packers